Hi guys, welcome back. Today I am going to share a little flip through of this journal. You saw me decorate the cover of this not too long ago here on my channel. I have a video of that, so if you're interested, there is a video a little way back, not too far, of me decorating how I decorated the cover of this journal. I really love it. It's been such a good journal. And I am now ready to do a little flip through of this because it's all complete. When I uploaded that video, I had this journal for a while at the point that I got it uploaded, so I have finished it all now. So I thought I would just share with you this journal. So this was the first page here. It was the 22nd of July that I started. And this journal was where I really started experimenting a lot more with colour in my journal. You can see there's quite a lot of bright colours on this page, a lot of interesting colours, and I really enjoyed using a lot of colour. So this is page 2. This was a meme that I found online. Someone posted it on Instagram and I thought it was so me and so funny, so I printed that off and stuck it in. This is a photo of my friend's kids. You can only really see one, and then a hand of the other kid, Zebedee, and yeah, so I stuck that in. That was the best photo we could get of those two. And I loved this magazine image here with the florals in the background. Oh, it's so pretty, and I just cut out a big chunk of it and stuck it on, and then added just a few bits on there. So that was that, and this was some packaging from some Ellie Edwards mail that I had. So this page, I started off by adding some watercolour on the background. I was listening to Howl's Moving Castle on audiobook this day. This here is a prayer, so it's just a little bit more personal, which is why I'm covering it up. But you can kind of see the idea of how I laid this out. This was some paper from Hannah from Tiger Lily Letters. And so I stuck that in there. I really love this page. Really, really love how it looks. James had our cat wrapped up in her bed like a taco, and so he was pretending she was a cat taco or she was a fancy bag, and he was just being a weirdo. So I took some photos and stuck them in here. I had this awesome roll of quarters wrapper gifted to me by Kim Tan. Oh, I loved it. I love how it looks laid in the background like that, with bits like washi stickers kind of laid over it, and so it's just sort of peeking through in the background. I just think it looks so cool. I love it so much. What a treat to get one of them, because we obviously don't have these here in New Zealand, so it was really awesome to be sent one of them. This was me writing about the happy mail I got from Kim. She just sent me the most amazing happy mail this day, and I absolutely adored it, so I wrote about that. And then just a bunch of other bits and pieces. This day we flew to Wellington. It was my granddad's birthday, and we were going up for his 75th birthday party, and so here's my plane ticket. This was me using my Tombos and just writing about the day. One of my best friends who I got to stay with up there had popcorn and a Kinder Surprise egg for us on our bed, and so I cut out the packaging and stuck that in. This was a little tag from a Flow book for paper lovers, or maybe a Flow magazine, I can't remember, and it's had some tips for flying. Definitely I think for flying longer trips than the 35-minute flight to Wellington, but nonetheless it made it into this page. And then, like I said, here's my flight ticket, and this was on my bag. We went to a restaurant called Tuk Tuk for Granddad's birthday, so I was writing about that there. I bought myself some socks, and my sister had this Foxton Fizz lemonade, and I stole the label sticker off the bottle. This was a piece of art my friend had hanging in the bedroom that I was staying in that I really liked, so I printed it out and I stuck it in here. And then over in here, this was from a bag. I got some earrings from an art gallery, which I loved, and I used the paper bag that they came in as a little, like I just cut a piece out of the bag that had the name of the store and just used that as like a little flip to do my writing in the inside there. We got to have a wander around in Porirua this day, and Porirua was where I lived when I just left home. I moved to the North Island. I'd always grown up in the South Island. I moved there by myself to Porirua, and this was my home for a year and a half, this city. And so whenever I can go back, I love going there. So I went back to some of my special spots that I used to love when I lived there and just took some photos, and I walked around with my mum and my sister, and it was really, really nice. It was a beautiful day. This was the art gallery that I went to. This was about growing roses, and I picked up the pamphlet from Mitre 10, which is like a home garden sort of store. Just had some receipts from the trip tucked in here, and then in this little pocket in here I just had some leftover bits from the Kinder Surprise. See if I can wriggle this back in. I got a different pair of socks, so I stuck the tag thing in there. This is me and my granddad and my sister, and then in the back is, in this photo, is my auntie and my dad. And we went out for breakfast to the art gallery again this day. So I got the photos, printed them out and stuck them in. This was our last day in Wellington. We were flying home this day, and I went to Te Papa, and I went to this other art gallery, a different one in the city, in Wellington City, not Porirua. And there was this little leaflet that I grabbed, and then when I was in Te Papa, they had postcards that were pretty cheap, so I grabbed this one because it was very cute. And so I stuck that in there, and I did my journaling across down here, and this was my favourite art piece from the gallery I was in. I found it online, so I printed out a copy of it online and stuck it in. This is my address here, so I'm going to leave my hand over that part. This was the day after we came back. Just stuck a bunch of things in here. Our little chicken had died. It wasn't actually Marjorie. I thought it was Marjorie that had died, but it turns out it was actually Lucinda that had died, so I need to fix this. I had some mail when I got back from Heather, and we'd done a washi swap through my Facebook group, and so I stuck down, she'd given me this tag too, and on the back of it I just put a little tiny sample of all the washies that she sent me, and I stuck it into my journal here. Then this is the card she sent me, and finally when we got home we also had the meter reader had tried to come and couldn't get in because we'd locked the door, obviously, we were going away. So I tucked the card saying that she'd come in to read our meter and couldn't see us that day into the pocket there too. This was when I started playing with using my Distress oxides in the background rather than watercolours. I'd had noodles this day, so I used the noodle wrapper as a pocket here. I like the bright colours on it. I just wrote about all sorts of different things on this day. I've got a tag in here. Here I wrote about listening to the audiobook The Princess Bride. Love that story so much. Just stuck down a bunch of random stickers and magazine images and things like that. So that is, I like this page. I really like how it turned out, and I love how this page turned out. I really liked the colours and the imagery. I don't know, I just felt like it was a super fun page. So I used a lot of purple in the background on this, and then I had found these cool bits in an ad for like I think it was like a Chinese food store or something, buns, I don't know, I can't remember, and I just thought it was super cute advertising. So I cut out this little thug cat and the snake and stuck them in. I just really loved how that looked. I was coming up with names for my new chickens because I knew we were getting some new chickens at this point. So I was writing down names that I liked for them. This is the 1st of August. I wrote about shower wine. I'd had a shower this day, and I love, one of my favourite things to do when I'm having a shower is to hop in there, have it nice and warm, have my Yui Boom playing so that I can be listening to my favourite songs and drinking wine in the shower. Just so relaxing, so nice. So I wrote about my shower time with my wine, and so that was really, really cool. I finally found a spot for this beautiful woman. It has no relevance to the story, but to the story of my day, but I just thought she was so glamorous and so cute, and so I had her just sitting in this box of cutout images for ages, and I just stuck her down this day, and I'm so glad she's found a home. I love the colours of this page. I love the purple kind of pinky background. Just love how it looks. I had done it by using tissue paper, and it actually isn't that bad, but I did find the tissue paper made my pen just like sort of bleed out just a tiny bit. It's not bad, it's still very readable, but I don't know, I might try it again another time, we'll see. But we went walking with all the dogs. I have my parents have a bunch of dogs, my sisters have dogs, so there's just a lot of dogs. So my youngest sister has Bear, my mum has Ned and Meg and Bounce. They're Ned and Bounce and Meg, where it was, they were all farm dogs, but they're kind of all just sort of pets as well. And then my other sister has Quinn and Percy, and so we were walking all the 6 dogs, and I just happened to find little stickers that vaguely reminded me of those dogs that I had in the set, and so I stuck them all in there. I'd been hoarding those stickers for ages, so it was really nice to find a place to use them. This was something that was on Pam from Pocket Journal Pam's her Instagram stories, and I screenshot it. I just love her stuff that she does. It's beautiful. My sister got a lamb this day, so she called it Lupin, so I wrote about that in there too. So yeah, that was this day. The next day, enough was enough, and I had to sign up to be a patron for Pocket Journal Pam. I love her things so much, so I finally signed up for her Patreon this day. It was my father-in-law's 65th birthday, so he finally hit retirement age, so that was cool. I had Peter's sausages for dinner that night, and then a lot of these other things were just sort of random bits stuck down. So this piece over here was a certificate. I hope you can see it. It was a certificate for getting our school's book order in really quickly for Duffy Books. Duffy Books is a company that gives away a lot of free books every year to kids in schools, and they have to order them through, and I was the 4th fastest person to order the books in New Zealand. So I won our school a box of new books, and I grabbed the certificate because no one else needed it, and it was me who had won it anyway. So I grabbed the certificate and I stuck it in my journal. And then on this side, I talked about becoming a patron of Pocket Journal Pam's, and I stuck in some more of her collage sheets, her little cute images. Stuck this in here. This day, I got a postcard in the mail from Helga. I'll just cover up my address here because you don't need to see that, but I got this cool postcard from Helga. She is on Instagram too, and I stuck in this cool magazine image of the hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas so much, and I love how big this image is. Like, it's the size of my hand. It's huge. And I really loved how it took up a massive part of the page with this beautiful colour. And I just stuck in a bunch of other random bits and pieces in here. I was had a few days before I had started learning Dutch on Duolingo, so that was pretty exciting. And yeah, so I wrote about that in there too. And look at this postcard, isn't it beautiful? This is of Germany, obviously, and it just is so cool. Here, this was the day that the school had their sliding door fixed, and the man gave me his card, so I stuck that in. I was just feeling really grateful this day for my home, so I stuck in the background piece is just a great big piece of magazine, and it said Homes on it. And then I also stuck in another magazine piece that said My Happy Place, because I've just was feeling so appreciative of my house this day. So I took a photo of the back of my house and of the front of my house and of the flowers in my garden that were starting to bloom. It was just lovely. These are 3 little monkey stickers. I hope you can see down the side here. They are smelly stickers. They smell like banana, because my office smelt really strongly of banana that day, because we had this massive box of very ripe bananas, and it was right next to the heater. So it was just pumping out this really strong smell of banana, which is not a bad smell, but it just really smelled like bananas that day. So I thought using banana smelly stickers would really add something to my spread. Over here, I had a board of trustees meeting. I'm on the board of trustees for the local primary school. I got these really adorable stamps this day in the mail of this little boy, this little girl, and this little cat, and I thought that was perfect because it's like me and my husband and our cat. And so I am just going to use them in my journal to represent us, and I think that's so cute. And I got a mail surprise from Kerry, so that was really exciting. So I had this little piece of comic book and I cut out this little mail thing and stuck that in there, and I loved this packing tape she used. I just thought it was so cool. And I wasn't feeling that well, so I was in bed for a lot of the day that day. Here I got some mail from the lovely Tanya Lee Designs. She is just so fabulous. I got mail from her this day, and I got another happy mail from Betty, and I got a beautiful bunch of daffodils from a lady that my husband is working for, painting her house at the moment. And so I just had so many lovely treasures that day. And I had I watched the movie Castle in the Sky, and it's this Studio Ghibli, I don't know how you say it, movie, and I watched that and I had some stickers of that, so I stuck them in. And I stayed home again today because I still wasn't feeling very well. And I had taken this photo and put it on Instagram this day of my cat with my journal, and I loved that photo so much that I printed it off and stuck it in my journal here. And then in here this was a little pocket that I got from Tanya, and I wrote about how I had just done some colour play that day. I had gotten out all my felts and my distress oxides and played, and this was a really lovely message sent to me by Heather, who bought 2 of my Matariki journals, and it was just so sweet. I loved her message so much that I printed it out, stuck it in here too. This was a very bright and colourful page, isn't it? I was in town this day, in the city. We were staying the night in the city because my sister was going to be away and we were looking after her dog. And also we had a dinner that night with my mother-in-law, and we were meeting her fiance for the first time. So they haven't been together that long. They've been together since, I don't know, the beginning of this year, I guess, but we didn't hear about it until March, I think. And they got engaged, and so we were meeting him for the first time and his son, and so that was really cool. So I stuck in this bride and groom little image because, you know, I don't get to go to a lot of weddings and things nowadays, so it's nice to be able to use that when I could. So I stuck that in there. I mean, they're not married yet, but they're engaged. I wrote about our day, and that was really cool. Over here, we had stayed that night in town. I got the new Being magazine this day. We had McDonald's for breakfast, and my husband had Subway for lunch, and I had butter chicken for lunch. So it was a real junk food day, but we don't have junk food where we live. So when we're in the city, we do get a lot of junk food, as in like takeaways. I wrote about that. I also wrote about feeling really stressed this day, and I was sort of having a bad mental health day, so I put these boxing gloves in to symbolize my brain fighting with myself. So I put that in there. This day, you might have seen this one if you follow me on Instagram. This one here was the first day of prompt week. I found this really cool image of this like colourful kind of cactus looking thing, and so I stuck that in. I had fallen over the day before and my ankle was still really sore. The prompt for this day was about your favourite fruit, and lemon was the fruit that came to mind. And so I have written about the lemons here. I just did a bunch of, different journaling here. This day was day 2 of prompt week. It was about favourite colour, and which mine was the favourite colour right now that was really exciting me right now was like a magenta pink. This colour it did come out a bit red for what I was really meaning it to, but it's fine. I mean, I don't care. This was a funny little thing that a kid at school said. I loved this so much. Our chicken Marjorie was helping James clean out his work truck. She had hopped into the truck while he was cleaning it out, and they were just hanging out together, and I thought it was so cute. So I stuck that in there, and I did laundry this day. Over here was day 3, I believe, of prompt week, and the prompt was, what was the last thing somebody said to you? And it was my husband had said left or right, and that was about picking which bowl of dessert I wanted. He held them behind his back so I couldn't see, and he said choose left or right, and I had to just pick and grab, and then whatever one I'd said was the bowl that I was getting. It was our son's 2-year anniversary of his due date. Unfortunately, our baby, well before his due date, was born too early and died soon after he was born. And so we celebrate his actual birthday, but his anniversary, I mean, we don't celebrate it, but I still remember the anniversary of his due date too. So we didn't do anything as a celebration this night of it, but it was just, I just remembered him, and so I just wrote about that in my journal. And there was this amazing rainbow right over the bay, where I was working this day. It was just incredible, and James had taken a really good photo of it, and so he sent that to me, and I stuck that in. This was going back into level 2. We had gone back in the night before, but I hadn't got this alert pop up on my phone until I'd already finished my journaling back here, so I didn't have space for it. So I stuck it into this day, because this was the first day of level 2. So that was a bit sad that we were back in level 2, but I mean, it is what it is. It had to be done. This was day 4, I think, of our prompt week, and it was describe your socks. And my socks, I'd really planned on wearing a nice pair of socks to write about them, but I ended up wearing odd socks. So I had this little card that had these socks on it, and I thought this is the perfect time to use it. We went, my mum and my sister and I went and checked on the lambs over on the farm, so I found this little boy with these sheep all around him, thought that was a good time to use it. We finished watching season 2 of the Umbrella Academy this day, so I added that in. James changed the light bulb in my craft room because it had gone out, it had blown, and he came in and fixed it for me without me even having to ask, and I just thought that was so sweet, so I added that in too. This was the final day of prompt week for August, and this was about the fragrance of your soap in your bathroom, and so I'd written down lime, sage and peppermint was the smell that we had currently. And I was so glad because I finally had a reason to use my beautiful vintage stamp. This is an authentic vintage stamp that says peppermint, and it's beautiful. I don't have it with me to show you it, but I have one that's really similar. I think, let me just see if it's in here. But I have another one that looks exactly the same, except for it says caramel instead. But it's just one of these beautiful vintage stamps. This one is the caramel one, but I also have that peppermint one. It's a little bit bigger than this, but it's the same style as this, and they're just so beautiful. And so I had a reason finally to use my peppermint stamp, so I was very excited about that. So next day, this day, I went to my cousin's house for a bit with my mum and my sister and my auntie, and we all do our craft-afternoon. So it's the day we all get together and do crafts, although this time it wasn't in the afternoon, it was in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I took photos for my cousin's daughter. She likes to have, her husband's family all has this tradition of taking photos of their children when they are 9 months old. And so her husband's parents have photos of their kids all at 9 months old and all their grandkids at 9 months old. So I went over and took photos of her because I, in case you didn't know, am a professional photographer as well. I don't really do it a lot anymore, but nonetheless I have the gear and I know how to do it. So I took some 9-month photos of her daughter Georgie, and so that was cool. What else? I went to this art show, which was really cool. Went to the art show and I picked up my medication this day, so that was good. Over here, this was this awesome Sunday afternoon. I had arranged for us to go over to this big beautiful daffodil field and pick daffodils. So a bunch of me and my husband, my sister and her husband, and my cousin and her husband all met up again this day, and we went daffodil picking, and it was a beautiful sunny afternoon, and it was Sunday, and it was just lovely. So we went and picked daffodils that afternoon, and my cousin's daughter Arabella kept calling the dandelions dandies, and so I've written here daffs and dandies, and it was just a super lovely afternoon. We took photos there too, so that was really cool. We had this butter chicken and what's the other one called? Tikka masala, I think, for dinner, and it came all like packaged up in this cardboard box. It's like takeaways, but you have to cook it yourself, but you just throw it all in the microwave and it all cooks up, and it's just like the easiest dinner ever. And so I had bought one of those because we kind of came back in the afternoon and I was tired, so it was really handy just to be able to throw dinner in the microwave and it was done. So I put the box in here and made a little pocket out of that, and inside of here I just have a couple more of the photos. This is James with Arabella. They are such good friends and it's adorable. And then a photo of myself picking the daffodils and James picking the daffodils, and so I just printed those few photos out from that day and tucked them in there. Over here, I found my iPad pen this day. That was really exciting. James came and visited me at work this day. I made these really lovely pressed flower stickers and used them in my journal, and I loved how they looked. I just think they look so cool having the pressed flowers in my journal, and it just is, you know, giving me a glimpse at what sort of flowers I have in my garden at this time, so when I'm looking back I'll be able to see what kind of flowers I have when. This was a little meme that I made of about my cousin's daughter Arabella. She makes the funniest face when you ask her to smile, and so I had stuck that in too. Over here I was doing some work on my collage sheets, and I'd printed one out and I used that as a little pocket, and I added this little card in here that has a picture of our cat who had gone for a sleep on my husband's bottom, which I thought was really adorable, so I took a photo of that, stuck that in there. The lady I work with, her tooth broke today, so I had this weird cutout of some teeth, so I thought this is a great opportunity to use that. So yeah, and it was really cold, so I had these little penguins that I stuck in too. This day we went tree planting. The school that I work for all went for a trip down to the local camping ground and got involved with planting trees. So that was really cool. I have baby calves next door to my house at this time. Yeah, so this was just really cool. This is another little printable I've been working on of some socks, which I really like. Over here, this was the day we got our 2 new chickens, and that was super exciting. I have our little boy and girl stamp here of James and myself because we went out for date night to this pub restaurant sort of place and had burger nights. They have $15 burgers on Thursdays and they're really good, so we went and we had $15 burgers for a date night. I just had the word harikoa in my head, which means happy in Māori, and it just had been sort of stuck in my head all day, that word, and so I wrote that in there. I listened to Castle in the Sky, the audio book, this day, but it is not the same as the Studio Ghibli movie, so that was interesting, but it's actually more related to Howl's Moving Castle, so I stuck a Howl's Moving Castle sticker in there because I happen to have one. So I listened to that, and that little cat has got his headphones on, so that was me listening to it. So that was this day. Over here, I clearly did the date wrong. This was Thursday the 20th, and this was actually Friday the 21st, but I wrote the date wrong, but oh well. I've written underneath 21. My cat woke us up in the morning because she was vomiting by our bedroom door, so I wrote about that. I think there was actually a video that I've probably put up now of this spread, so you might have seen this spread already. There was a rat that was running around in my parents' kitchen, and this is all the people running around trying to catch the rat with the gumboots, so I found the sticker of gumboots and stuck that in. This is another little printable I've been working on here, like a little printable postcard kind of thing. And I wrote about all of the requirements I have to do, well, that I have to start doing audit stuff at school. This was about us picking out a toilet roll holder to put on our wall in our bathroom. This is the shopping list here, and then this is some of the things that James was doing in town that day. This was the day I named our chickens. They're called Claudia and Audrey. So that was pretty cool. And then that was the last day. I just have this little magazine image here about sheep wearing masks and people leaving Auckland. This was just at around this time Auckland was in level 3 because they were having quite a few cases of COVID. And so that's a long way from where I live, but I just saw this little article in a farming newspaper, or not article, this like comic picture thing, and I thought I would cut it out, and just to remind myself that at this time Auckland was having a lot of trouble with COVID. So I just feel like in the future that will be a good way of remembering that. So that is this journal, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this little flip through. I really love this journal. I really love how it turned out. Yeah, I decided I actually really do like having blank pages that I colour in myself. So that was a great discovery for me. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, I'd love it if you'd subscribe or leave a comment or like this video. It all means so much to me and helps me out a lot. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye!